Ladies and gentlemen, Ubisoft has finally done it. They found the perfect new date to release Assassin's Creed Shadows in Japan. They have absolutely nailed it. Oh my god, it's the anniversary of the worst terror attack in modern history in Japan. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? It's JayViper. We're going to get into these details and also talk about why Ubisoft may be selling off itself or its IPs in the near future. Let's get to it right after you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crowd in awe.
So once again, Ubisoft has found a way to screw their relationship with Japan, mess up their release for Shadows, and of course just make a huge mockery of the entire situation and embarrass themselves. Assassin's Creed Shadows' new release date, March 20th, is the anniversary of the worst modern domestic terror attack in Japanese history. Now, this isn't a small mistake, okay? Like, this is major. They have been majorly tone deaf throughout the entire creation of Assassin's Creed Shadows. They've made mistake after mistake, and they have pissed off Japanese people and have pretty much made a mockery of their culture. So Shadows has been delayed twice already. So this is the 30th anniversary of Tokyo subway sarin attack, March 20th, 2025. So here's my take on it. Let's say this was just a regular AC game and didn't have all this controversy around it, and this was just the original release date, right? I don't think there would be this huge swarm and people angry, but they have absolutely stepped on Japanese culture time and time again. They have no idea what they're doing. When they made this new date, I just wonder if anyone even took the time to see if that date meant anything at all to Japan. Because if they did, they would have seen this, okay? Like, this was literally going to be my next step today, was to go look and see what March 20th was in Japan. That's what I was going to go look at. But looks like Park Place beat me to it, because it is the anniversary of a sarin attack on the subway, which is crazy. This was horrible day in Japan. So what happened was, in Tokyo, there was a sarin attack by a cult that actually killed 13 people, and there was 50 severe injuries, and about 1,000 people were left with temporary vision impairment. So sarin gas, I mean, this is a WMD, right? Weapon of mass destruction. You can kill a lot of people with this. And when you think of Japan, they don't really deal with a lot of domestic terror. This was a huge event for them. This was, and in 1995, I mean, this type of thing really didn't happen. This was horrible, and this was global news. So let's go over the attacks themselves real quick so people kind of understand what we're talking about here and how serious it was. There were 5 coordinated attacks on that day. They released sarin, a chemical warfare nerve agent, on 3 lines of the Tokyo Metro during rush hour. The trains attacked were all passing through the same areas where the National Diet, or the Japanese Parliament, is located in Tokyo. It's still commemorated as a reminder of the tragedy and resilience of its victims. Think about America in like 9/11, right? Like, this was a very somber day. Those are days that we know right off the top of our head. March 20th in Japan is that type of day where you say March 20th and people know it was the sarin attack. So for Ubisoft, of course, they always claim that they've undertaken extensive research into Japanese culture. And of course, with Shadows, you play as a black man hacking, slashing, bludgeoning his way through Japanese people. A decision to release the game and the anniversary seems shockingly ignorant or blatantly disrespectful. And I have to just imagine that it's ignorance on Ubisoft part, although I think that might be me giving them too much credit based on all the missteps. I just don't know how you don't look at that date in Japan and be like, should we do it on March 20th? And you see what day it is and be like, no, not March 20th. Let's find another day. So again, this is just another issue in a line of problems here. So first and foremost, let's go look at the past problems, and the one that sticks out, of course, is choosing Yasuke as the main protagonist. I mean, he is going to be the face of this game. He's the one that's mostly like the action upfront combat. I mean, that's going to be the face, even though now he is in the game. Yasuke is going to be the face of this game. So of course with him, that's the first time that they've stepped out and not given someone of the culture, right? They went out of their way to include Yasuke, which is more of like a Western ideology, over Eastern culture by including a Japanese man. So that's strike number one. So on top of that, there's all the accusations of historical inaccuracies, such as inclusion of Chinese architecture in the game that's meant to represent feudal Japan. And of course, we also know that they like took some emblems from reenactment and they used those directly in the game without permission. That was a big deal. And then, of course, there's this statue right here. This whole situation's crazy because that statue of Yasuke and Naoi showing them on top of a destroyed one-legged torii gate is a symbolism of the one-legged torii gate that has significance for the Japanese people because it's so closely tied to an iconic image of the decimated city of Nagasaki after an atomic bomb was dropped on it in 1945. So the fact that they chose that, which is a symbol of Japan history, right? It's not a very positive thing. And the fact they're selling it to represent the game is hugely tone deaf again of Ubisoft. So that was blasted back in September when an ex-user said, as translated by Google, of course, spread the word, Assassin's Creed Shadow figures from Ubisoft, a famous Japanese hate and criminal company. A figurine of a destroyed torii gate has been released, which is believed to be based on the one-legged torii gate that was destroyed in the Nagasaki atomic bombing. He added, I've never seen a one-legged torii other than the one destroyed by the American atomic bomb in Nagasaki. And while the company touts its commitment to research and authenticity, the choice of March 20th as a release date again undermines that narrative. If the developers were unaware of the date's significance, it raises questions about their cultural understanding. If they were aware, the decision appears to show blatant disregard for Japanese history and sensibilities again. And the article goes on to saying how Shadows is supposed to be an attempt of a love letter to Japan. It risks falling flat with missteps piling up to erode player trust, and I just don't know how anyone can trust that this is some love letter to Japan. It's clearly like cultural appropriation, like this really is it. And if they were just clear, like we just want to make a game about Japan, they shouldn't have added Yasuke, first of all. Or if they want to make a Yasuke game, make a Yasuke game. But the fact that they always try to tout, like, you know, they're this great arbiter of truth and, you know, we're so accurate, which is exactly how they originally tried to frame the game, you can't make these mistakes again and again and again. So there's another article as well that's talking about Ubisoft announced it has appointed leading advisors to review and pursue various transformational, strategic, and capitalistic options to extract the best value for stakeholders. So basically, what does this mean? On paper, it suggests Ubisoft has hired consultants to address the company's strategic missteps from recent years. However, in practice, this move aligns more closely with preparations to sell off valuable assets. Properties like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six, streaming rights, other goods, or possibly edge closer to bankruptcy. I'm wondering if they start selling off teams, like let's say they take the Rainbow Six IP and the team and they sell it to a company, the whole thing. I think that would be the best way for them to move forward because I just don't see how Ubisoft ever really recovers because they have just made so many missteps. So just history, let's go back to THQ in 2012. They made a similar move before they eventually collapsed. THQ knew exactly what it was doing and for whom it was doing it. The initial step of appointing lead advisors to explore transformational strategic options is standard procedure for any company on the verge of a merger or asset sale. However, in Ubisoft's case, this announcement, just as it was for THQ, serves as a signal to investors that the company is following all legal and regulatory steps before implementing drastic changes that may benefit some stakeholders but are more likely to leave others at a loss. So personally for me, I really think the first thing they're going to do is start selling off the IPs. Rainbow Six Siege will go somewhere. They'll take Assassin's Creed and sell it. They can get money for these things. But what's going to be left of Ubisoft at the end will remain to be seen, because if they don't have their big IPs, what are they going to be selling? From there, I think it's just more liquidation and maybe just complete bankruptcy, because they can at least get something for bankruptcy for the high-ups. What I'm wondering is when they sell something like, let's say, Rainbow Six, right? That's something that's been around for a long time. Ubisoft has been in charge of it the entire time. It has a large team that still works there. Will they just sell the entire, like, the team and the game IP and move them? Or will those types of games get purchased, possibly shut down the game, or get new teams assigned to them from whatever company buys them up? There's a lot still to be seen with Ubisoft, but again, it's going to be very difficult for them to find a way to stay afloat, especially while still keeping all their current IPs. I just don't see how that's possible. How can Ubisoft remain and keep everything? The only way is for Shadows to be $1 billion seller, and I just don't think it's going to sell that many copies because the hype around this game is niche, right? You have the AC bros who are going to buy it almost certainly, but even a lot of them are turned off right now because just the whole thing stinks. Ubisoft's been around a long time, but you know what? Companies generally only last for so long. Even if they were number one, huge must-buys like Assassin's Creed's were, Rainbow Six Siege, huge, but they have found a way to whittle away the trust and whittle away their market cap and pretty much just stab all their stockholders in the back. And for what? I hope at the end of the day, all those big wigs over at Ubisoft, they think that this was worth it. Because personally, I don't care what happens to this company anymore and companies like them, because I am just sick of this stuff being shoved down our throats in games. I mean, they try to tell us how great they are, while it's completely the opposite. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think they're going to sell it off? Do you think it's going to release on the 20th? I'd love to hear from you. But don't forget, if you haven't already, like the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so I can see you on the next one. Love you, mean, and peace. Bye, everybody!
Owning every game.